To give you an idea, Pauline and I have taken 2 weeks off our jobs, so we don't go to Florida, we don't go on cruises, we don't go to Mexico or Cuba or any place like that. This is what we do for our holidays, and we couldn't be happier. And I can tell you it's just as good as an all-inclusive cruise, because I can't seem to get my jacket together anymore, so it must be pretty good. And it's been really fantastic. So to give you a little bit of a history on why we do what we do, my great-grandfather, Narcisse Canton, had this idea to bring the seaway across from Port Stanley over to St. Joseph. So he actually started building an instant city in St. Joseph to show that it would be a viable port, but that's a very long story for another time. So in that type of business, he was in Montreal. He had an office and a home in Montreal, and he had heard about this Brother André fella who was over on Mount Royal, and he wanted to build a small oratory dedicated to St. Joseph. So he thought he'd go over there and see him and introduce himself. So he went over there around 1904. So it's a long time ago. He went over there around 1904, and he goes up and he does find Brother André. He meets with him, and he says, "How you doing, Martin?" And he says, "What do you got going on over here?" And he goes, Brother André told him, he goes, "I'm going to build an oratory dedicated to St. Joseph." Well, Narcisse said, "Well, I'm going to dedicate an entire city to St. Joseph." Well, anybody who's ever been 8 miles north of Grand Bend knows that there's no big city there, but there is a St. Joseph there. And that's kind of how the two met. But Narcisse was so taken in with Brother André, and I think just to meet Brother André, you fall in love with the guy almost immediately. I know we certainly have. And so he explains to him what he's up to, and he goes back, and he actually takes that faith and his love for Brother André, and he instills that in all 10 of his children. And he actually gives all 10 of his children a very specific duty. Okay, so this is back around 19. As the kids grew up, they were taught that you look after Brother André no matter what. So they each had a job. John, the oldest one, well, he was his travel companion, and he would go around on the train with him, go to Detroit or various places in Canada. So he was kind of his travel buddy, and I can't imagine how nice of a job. That would have been a fun job, to actually sit with Brother André on a train and converse for long hours. It would have been fantastic. Then you get Napoleon, who is my grandfather, and there was a couple of visits to St. Joseph, and those visits were due to Brother André's health. The oratory was a little bit concerned about, the Holy Cross were concerned about his health, so they wanted to get him away from Montreal. By the time he came to St. Joseph, things were very, very busy at the oratory. He had thousands of people coming every day. So my grandfather had the job of, when he's in St. Joseph, he's going to stay with you and you're going to look after him. So that was his duty. Then you get Josephine, who was in charge of making sure that he had somewhere to go for dinner, and then it just goes down the line that they all had a job. The one I want to talk about today, though, is my Uncle Joe Canton. So Joseph Canton was my uncle, and he was living in Montreal, and his job was to go pick up Brother André in his Model T and take him around Montreal for very long hours, several times a week, visiting the sick. And when you came in, they handed out little prayer cards, and I will tell you that those prayer cards, they're prayer cards, but they're also more a little bit of a life lesson. And they're very unique and special, and that's because Brother André is a very unique and special person, and Pauline and I wanted to make something unique to that degree too. So anyways, he goes there one night, and before going to pick up Brother André, he picked up a statue of St. Joseph, pretty large statue, and he straps it into his Model T in the front seat, and he drives over and he goes to pick up Brother André. Brother André comes out and he goes, "Oh, wait a second here, let me move my statue for you." Brother André says, No. He goes, "I'll hold the statue." So Brother André held that statue all night long as they drove around Montreal visiting the sick. So after about 5 hours or so, they get back to the oratory. It's after midnight, and it's in February. And I can only tell you that in February, it's very cold, very icy, very snowy in Montreal. They don't shovel snow, they don't plow snow, they don't salt the snow, they don't do anything to get rid of the snow in Montreal. And that's true to this date too. Father Joe Mom will tell you that too. So they climb all those steps all the way up to the top of the oratory, and they're just about ready to go. He says, "Okay, Brother André, have a good night." And Brother Andre turns around, he goes, where were you going? He goes, Joseph, come and make the way of the cross with me. Joseph looks at me, he goes, oh, Brother Andre, it's after midnight. He rolls his eyes. Are you crazy? Are you kidding me? And he says, no. He goes, Joseph says, Brother Andre, go to bed. You're tired. And Brother Andre told him, he goes, Joseph, it's when we do things tired that we gain the most merit. So that's the little saying that's actually on the back of your card. So now when you turn that card over and you look at it, now you'll understand that little story. I'm going to give you another story too now. Looks like they're just working on some stuff there. So I carry around with me, especially on the relic tour, I carry around with me a little crucifix. This crucifix is very special to the family, and this was Brother Andre's crucifix, and I'll tell you the story about that. It's been with us for many, many years. So my grandfather, although he was still back in St. Joseph, he did get to Montreal the odd time, and he did go see his friend at the little chapel. And he went there, the last time he saw Brother Andre alive was June 24th of 1936. So that was about maybe 6 months before Brother Andre passed away. When he got to the oratory, Brother Andre was not there. He was sick. He was in the hospital at the time. So my grandfather decided, he went over to the hospital to go see his friend. And they were always joking around. I mean, if I could ever paint a picture about who Brother Andre was, and I could go on for hours and hours and hours about stories about him, he was very approachable, and you can just about say anything to the guy. And you can joke around with them, and you can tease them, and you can have fun with them, and you can laugh with them, and he would give it right back to you in return, because that's the kind of guy he was. They had a lot of fun together. So Napoleon gets to the hospital, and he walks into the hospital, and he goes into Brother Andre's room, and Brother Andre is actually weaving his own cordon. And Napoleon says jokingly, boy, Brother Andre, that's a big job you got going on there. And Brother Andre looks at me and says, Napoleon, you're right, I want you to finish this one. So he presented him with this cross, and I will tell you that the cord was quite a bit longer, but throughout the course of the last, 80, 90 years or so, as the Cantons have seen the need, and as people have come to us, they've said, hey, to pray for one of their loved ones or what have you. We've snipped off little pieces throughout the years for relics for them. Now, I will tell you, I hope nobody brought scissors tonight, because I think I'm about as far as I can go with this one. But if you're more than welcome to come up and see me, and if you would like to see this, by all means, come and see me. How are we doing, Father Jomon? Almost ready? Almost ready, okay. So here's the big intro. My wife and I have been involved with the oratory for many years now. We were there before the canonization. We met Father Jomon about 15 years ago when he was just a very young priest. Now he's a very old priest.
Yes. I'm the old priest.
So Father Jomon, and he was the first one to give us a blessing at the oratory, but I could tell you that when we first met Father Jomon, my wife and I seen it in him, just the energy and the enthusiasm and his true love for Brother Andre. And I can tell you that if you would have asked me 15 years ago if I would be touring around southwestern Ontario with Father Jomon, I never saw it coming. So, but we've maintained a very good relationship with Father Jomon. He's pretty special to us, and I can tell you he's very special to the oratory. And he has quite a following there. So, anyways, Father Jomon is the custodian of the major reliquary, and we've got big plans. After this tour, he's got a couple more tours coming up that he's going to go solo, but we're hoping to go down to the Diocese of Detroit next year, and I think that's going to be a fantastic venture for us. We were at the Solanus Casey Center just last Thursday, I believe, and the two Solanus Casey, Blessed Solanus Casey and Brother Andre were friends. And back in 1935, the two of them met, and there's we're going to make it a famous painting one day, I'm hoping. But there's a painting out there that depicts Solanus Casey kneeling before Brother Andre for a blessing. So we felt really called this summer, and we knew this trip was coming up, so we made arrangements. And we brought Brother Andre down, and for the first time since 1935, we had the two brothers in the same room, Blessed Solanus Casey, and it was beautiful. So I think Father Jomon's ready to go, so I'm going to let you have at it now, and I hope everybody enjoys his talk. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. It's amazing to be here with all of you this afternoon. We were in which city this morning? St. Thomas. We were in St. Thomas yesterday afternoon, and this morning, in between I went to London. I had a prayer program yesterday evening there. It's amazing to see how many thousands of people are gathering around the holy relics of the heart of St. André Bessette. So there's a piece of the heart of Brother André in the Reliquary. And this relic was exposed in the Olympic Stadium of Montreal for the first time in 2010, just after the canonization of Brother André. And so many thousands of people gathered there to venerate the relic and to thank God and to have a special mass for the person of Brother André. Brother André was a man of God. He was a man of prayer. And so that's why we see here, I don't know if you can see at the back here, it's a small screen. So he said, dans la prière, on parle à Dieu comme on parle à un ami. When you pray, you talk to God the way you do to a friend. That's what Brother André said. So for Brother André, Jesus was not very far. He was just next to him. Just like a friend. Just think that if you have a good friend, you would always think about him or her. You'll call him up and you want to have meals with that person. And you see, you will arrange things for your friend, right? So for Brother André, Jesus was his best friend. Always, always. And that's how he could do a lot of miracles and a lot of graces from God. And he said that he did not do any miracles. It's all coming from God, from Jesus, from Saint Joseph. Saint Joseph was his friend too. Saint Joseph. He was known to be the apostle of Saint Joseph. Next. So he always prayed behind the statue of Saint Joseph in the oratory in the crypt church. Next. Where is he born, Brother André? Any idea? In which village? Can you tell me that? Yes. Where is Brother André born? In which place? In which province? Quebec. But what's the name of the village where he is born? Any idea? Anybody? Mont Saint-Grégoire. Mont Saint-Grégoire, which is not very far from Montreal. It's near Montreal. And Brother André, what was his name at his birth? His parents gave him a name. What was the name of Brother André when he was small? The name given by his parents. Any idea? Alfred, who said the answer? Who are you? Oh, wow. I should give you a gift. Did you see that? Oh, it's written there. Oh, no. No, it's written there. I did not see that. You get a special. That's a special relic, okay? Third-class relic that I gave you. Keep it safe. It's good. So his name was Alfred. It's written here. He has got good eyes. He has good eyes. Yeah, so he lost his parents when he was young. He lost his father at the age of 10. He lost his mother at the age of 12. So orphan, he moved around from place to place. He went to Farnham, the second place where he went. Third place, Saint-Césaire. And then from there, he goes to the United States of America, to the northeastern part of the US, and he was there for 4 years. At the age of 20, he leaves Canada. At the age of 24, he comes back. And he wanted to become a religious brother. And he goes and meets with this pastor, André Provençal, in Saint-Césaire, the second village where he lived. And André Provençal told him to knock at the doors of different religious communities. But nobody was ready to take him in. Why? Because his health was very poor. Alfred was a fragile boy, and he was a fragile man all throughout his life. He was about to die when he was born. That's why his parents rushed him to the church for emergency baptism when he was born. So he could not eat much food. He was not healthy. But he lived for long years, 92 years. And he brought in healing and miracles to thousands, not thousands, millions of people. Millions of people. And so nobody was ready to take him in any community. his pastor wrote a beautiful letter. His pastor was compassionate and kind to him, wrote a letter. In that letter, he said to the superior provincial of the Congregation of Holy Cross in Montreal, he wrote, I am sending you someone who cannot do many things, but he can do one thing. What is that one thing? Pray. Oh my God, you got the answer. Yeah, you get a gift. You get a gold medal. Yeah, she got a gold medal. Yeah, you're laughing. Yeah, that's the gold medal of Brother Andre. So he cannot do many things, but he can do one thing. He can pray. And I think that's the essential thing that we all have to do in life. Pray. Prayer connects us with God. We are always with God when we pray, with Jesus. And at the end of the letter, he wrote, I'm sending you a saint. So he was accepted in the community, though he had difficulties, a lot of struggles in the community. He was accepted. And he got his first job. He was appointed at Notre Dame College. What was his job? Brother Andre's job. What was he in life? Yes, tell me. Doorman. I think you have read the story of Brother Andrew, right? Yes, he was a doorman. Here is a third class relic for you. He was a doorkeeper of Notre Dame College. For how many years? For how many years? Yes, tell me. 99 years. Wow, that would be amazing. But Brother Andrew lived for 92 years. He died at the age of 92. I think he is the doorman up there with Jesus. You know, to enter in heaven, St. Peter used to open the door. Now I think Brother Andrew is assisting him. So you're right, he might be there for long years. Yeah, that's true. You're not bad. He's good because our life continues. In what we are doing, we become what we are. And we continue to do what we do after our death. So Brother Andre might be the assistant to St. Peter in heaven. So if you are friends with Brother Andre, for sure we'll enter in heaven, right? When we reach there, Brother Andre will say, hey, come, I know you. I know you. I have seen you somewhere. He will open the door for us, right? But he was the doorkeeper of Notre Dame College for 48 years. No, 40 years. 38 and a half, 39 years. That's right. So that's what Brother Andrew said. The superiors showed me the door, and I remained there for 40 years. He used to joke and say. So he was there for 39 long years, but while opening the door, closing the door, he invited people to come and pray with him in the chapel. And that's how the whole thing started. You know, people started experiencing miracles and healings from God. So many students got healed through the prayer of Brother Andre. And he always prayed through the intercession of Saint Joseph, who was his friend. And his only desire in life was to build a chapel for Saint Joseph. Go on, Monique, next one. So this is the place where he's born. There's nothing else. There's a monument. Next. And this towards his village. Next. That's Mont Saint-Grégoire, his village. Next. That's the church where he received emergency baptism in Mont Saint-Grégoire. Next. That's Farnham, the second place where he lived in, second village. Next. That's Farnham, beautiful village. Next. And that's Saint-Césaire, the third village, where he received the sacrament of confirmation. Next. And that's in the US when he was there for 4 years in the United States. Next. And he was in many places in the US, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. Next. And this is a letter that the father wrote, André Provençal wrote this letter to help him. Next. And this is the statue of André Provençal in Saint-Césaire. Next. And this is the church of André Provençal, his pastor. Next. And that's how Brother André entered in the community at the age of 24, 25. Next. And this is the college, Notre Dame, where he was doorkeeper, doorman. Next. And he was doing all menial jobs. Next. Cutting the hair, polishing shoes. Next. So his desire was to build a chapel for Saint Joseph. With his friends, he built this church. First one. How many of you went to Montreal? Oh, almost all of you went there, except some. Yeah. So others who did not go there, you will get a chance to come there and you will see this this original chapel, which is still there. And that became a big church, the largest church dedicated to St. Joseph in the world today. It's huge, it's big. Once you enter in, you will experience the amazing beauty of this church and the thousands of pilgrims who are coming there every day to pray. Amazing, amazing. So people who are standing outside, they were standing for Mass because Brother André insisted having Mass every day. And he said that's where he got his strength and energy from. Jesus himself, who is a healer. So when he was asked to move from Notre Dame College to the oratory as the guardian of the oratory, that was his second job. First job, doorkeeper. Second job, guardian of the oratory. He had only 2 jobs in his life here. And so he said he wanted to have a priest with him. He asked the superior to give him a priest. And the provincial superior said, no, I don't have a priest. All are busy. They have their own churches. And then Brother André said, no, I cannot move. I need to have Mass every day for all the people who come to see me. And so the provincial said, okay, I can give you a priest, but here's a problem. What's his problem? He's blind, he cannot see. He's blind, he cannot read. But he can come with you, he's a good man. He can come and pray. You just tell him to bless people, he will do the blessing. Brother André said, that's fine, give me the blind priest. And to the priest he said, Father, from tomorrow you will start reading the Mass, you will say the Mass. And what happened? This priest got back his vision. He started reading, he was healed, instant healing. So many stories of like this, like real true stories. Next. And this is the original chapel as of now. If you go there now, you will see this one there. Next. Continue. God's doorman. So that's true, eh? God's doorman up there. You're true. That's written there, God's doorman. Yeah, go. Next. So he had a lot of friends. He had a lot of friends across Canada and the US because he used to move around quite a bit. He was popular. People used to invite him, just like that. Anybody could become friend of Brother André. And he's known to be a friend, a brother, a saint. Such a humble person. People would just get him and, take him to their houses and to the communities and to the churches. And Brother André would speak about St. Joseph and bring them healing and miracles from God. Next. That's how he's in mission with a chapeau on his head. I got a chapeau from Mark. Mark always goes with a chapeau, a hat on his head. Next. He gave me a chapeau the other day. This is the bigger church, the crypt church. 1,000 people can be seated in there. These people themselves, they asked for a bigger church because they were standing in cold winter for Mass outside the church, so they wanted to have a bigger church. So this one was built in 1917. Next. And Brother André welcomed everyone. Next, continue. He said, ce n'est pas moi qui guéris, c'est Saint Joseph qui entend vos prières. Tout ce que je fais, je le fais au nom de Jésus et de Saint Joseph. Ayez confiance et donc la foi. Have a lot of faith and confidence. He said, it's not I who heal, it's Saint Joseph and Jesus himself bringing healing for all of you. Next. Put yourself in the good Lord's hands and he never abandons anyone in adversity. These are the simple words of Brother André, but very true for us in our daily life. We have adversity, we have difficult time. It's not easy sometimes. COVID, sickness, cancer, and children who are running away from parents who have issues, family issues, and all these issues are, adverse times in our life. But if you have a lot of faith and trust in God, just surrender, then you will see the grace of God flowing into your house, into your family, into your own personal life. So you will experience peace and you will experience unity and a lot of goodness there. Next. And he was a man of thanksgiving. Continue, Monique. And more. Go on. These are simple words of Brother André. Put your soul in order with God. You will come back better. Next. Another one. And this is a very good wording of Brother André. The door to heaven is the heart of Jesus. The key to this door is prayer and love. Beautiful. Next. And when you say to God, our Father, he has his ear right next to your lips. So true. Next. And this is the first chapel, and now the oratory, the big one. Continue. Next. And Brother André died in which year? Brother André died in which year? Anybody? 1937. Who said that? 1937. Very good. You have a gift. And which month? Oh, it's written there. Okay. It's written there. In January, 6th January 1937. How many people attended his funeral? Yes, the little girl. Yes. Oh, mine. She has the answer. 1 million people. Wow. You got the answer. How do you know that? What? It's on the board. You can read it from here? I cannot read it from here. You're great. You got a medal of Brother André. Yeah, over 1 million people attended his funeral. And that was the biggest funeral in Canada till date. Nobody else got that kind of honor in Canada. You know, being a holy person, humble, simple person, he touched hearts and minds of millions of people. Anybody could just hop into any bus or train or anyone just to go to Canada, to Montreal. From the US and from everywhere, from all over, all the provinces in Canada, people came to pay homage to Brother André. And it's not in 5th or 6th century. It's in our time. In our time, your grandparents and parents have seen Brother André. They have prayed with Brother André. Mark's grandparents saw Brother André. Brother André came and stayed in their house. So it's in our time. It's amazing. And Brother André is canonized saint. It's just 12 years. He's a baby saint, I would say. He's a baby saint. He's just, if you have a baby with us, from year 1, 2, 3, 4, age of growth, just see that. Like 18, we still, accompany babies. So we have to keep loving our young baby saint, right? So we have to tell everyone about this marvelous, beautiful, humble, simple person, a saint with us, who is from among us, from our land. Next. So over 1 million people gathered there and prayed there. Next. And he was a man of compassion and prayer, very friend of the sick and suffering. And he insisted on Holy Mass and adoration and devotions to Saint Joseph and Mother Mary. And he imitated Jesus in his passion. So for him, reciting the way of the cross was his way of praying every day. Next. And he's the first Canadian-born male saint, imagine. And he's here with us today. His heart is here today. Can we clap for Brother André? Thank you. Thank you, Brother André, for all that you do for us, for our families, and for our children and grandchildren. Accompany us to Jesus and bless all of us. Amen. Next one. And this is at the time of the canonization in 2017, in 2010, right? 2010, that's in the crypt church of the oratory. A lot of people gathered there in 2010 on 17th October. Next. And he is also declared as a patron saint for all the family and natural caregivers. This is declared by the Bishop of Canada because he was friend of sick and suffering. Next. And that's the oratory as of today. Next, continue. A photo from little far. Yeah, continue. That's a photo from up above, from the helicopter. Somebody took me on the helicopter, just to go over the oratory. You see how big it is? It's huge. Next. Next one. And that's the original chapel. Continue. And that's the crypt church with the statue of Saint Joseph. Next. That's the special statue there. Next, of Saint Joseph. And people from all walks of life, they come and touch the crucifix in the crypt church at the oratory. It's not only the Catholics coming there, but also the Christians of different denominations, non-Christians, Hindus, Sikhs, Muslims, all these people come there. If you're there on a weekend, you'll be amazed to see the number of people coming there, and from all over the world, from all confessions of faiths, people come there, they pray there, they receive God's graces. That's amazing. So that shows the openness of Saint Brother Andre, but also that tells us that Jesus is for everyone. Jesus is not a private property of Catholics. Jesus is for everyone. All of us, we are lucky, we are baptized when we were young, but there are so many who did not get this chance to be baptized and know closer Jesus. There's so many who do not have this opportunity to receive Jesus in the Holy Communion. But Jesus doesn't stop going to them. They discover Jesus every day, little by little, and they go forward and they accept him as their Lord and Master. That's what is happening at the oratory. Next. See people climb on their knees. They have a lot of devotions. Next. People light candles in the votive chapel. How many candles are there in the votive chapel? Another question for you, my young friends there. Yes? How many chapels? This little boy, he wants to say the answer. How many chapels in the votive chapel? How many candles in the votive chapel? 10. 10. Add some more 0. After 10, put one more 0. No, after 10 you put one more 0. Just add one more 0, that becomes 100. After 100, put one more 0. That becomes 1,000. After 1,000, put one more 0. A million, that's a little too much, but after 1,000, you put one more 0. That becomes? No? 10,000. She got the answer. Wow. She got the answer. So, 10,000 candles in the votive. Oh, you get the second gift? My God, she's too bright. She's getting all the medals. Yeah. Wow, that's great. 10,000 candles in the votive chapel. So that's amazing. People come, pray with various intentions. They come there and they light candles to honor Saint Joseph and Saint Brother Andre, to thank God, thank Jesus for the gift of life. Next. And that's the tomb of Brother Andre, a place of silence and prayer in the oratory. Next. The statue of Mother Mary was always there. Brother Andre had a special devotion to our mother. So there is a grotto within the oratory, the natural grotto. Continue. And the oil of Saint Joseph was recommended by Brother Andre. He used to apply the oil. He used to ask people to buy oil and apply on them. They got healings and miracles. So today, if you want to get, you will be blessed to the oil of Saint Joseph. But if you want to get some bottles of oil home, you can get them from the entrance of the church. There are also some medals, and those who want to carry home a third-class relic, you can get them from there. Thank you. Continue. Continue. There are many chapels, small chapels in the oratory, side chapels, and the holy water being blessed to bless people. Next. And here is the heart of Brother Andre, preserved at the oratory. You know the story that the heart of Brother Andre was stolen. A thief came and took away the heart of Brother Andre from St. Joseph's oratory some years back. This is a real story. This was in the newspapers. And he calls up at the oratory. He says, I'm the thief. I've stolen the heart of Brother Andre. If you want to get it back to the church, you'll have to give millions of dollars in exchange. So the priest, the rector said, no way. No exchange of money for the heart of Brother Andre. And he put down the phone. After a few weeks, the same person, the thief, calls up at the oratory and he said, I'm terribly sick. I'm sick. My heart is aching. I will die of heart attack. Please tell the fathers at the oratory to pray for me. Please ask Brother Andre to pray for me so that I won't die. I will continue to live. And I'm going to keep the heart of Brother Andre in downtown near such and such railway station. Please come and collect it and get it back to the church. We go and look for the heart of Brother Andre. It was there, abandoned. We take it and put it back in the church where it is now, well locked, bien fermé à clé. Nicely locked, nobody can steal it. And this same thief, he called after a few weeks and he said, third time he called up at the oratory, he said, thanks be to God, I'm back to my normal health. My heart is no more aching. I'm healed. Thanks to Brother Andre. This is a real story. This came in the newspapers in Montreal. I don't know if it came here. Maybe it came here too. Next. So the heart is very powerful. And there's a piece of the heart of Brother Andre. So when you come forward today to venerate the heart of Brother Andre and to pray through his intercession, give all your special intentions to God. If you want to pray for someone special, somebody who is sick or suffering, or if you want to pray for your own family, don't hesitate to give all your prayers to God through the intercession of Brother Andre in the presence of his heart here. So you can be sure that you will receive this grace that you ask for. Next. That's the basilica. Next, continue. That's a huge basilica for 10,000 people. And 2,300 people can be seated in for the masses there. Next. So that's the largest basilica dedicated to Saint Joseph. And the Beccaret organ from Germany is the biggest one in North America. Next. And that's the celebration there. Continue. Next. And the chapel for adoration. Next. That's a college. These are the college students coming there to thank God for their graduation. They're on the terrace of the oratory. Next. And the bell tower. Continue. Next. The museum with crypts and crushes from all over the world, from more than 100 countries. So that's beautiful to see the crypts from all over the world. Next. And this is the way of the cross, the garden on the mountain behind the church. During summertime, it's so nice and beautiful. Next. And that's still in the garden. What's this statue? What is this statue? Yes, the little boy. Mary with what? Mary with whom? Mary and? Oh, wow. One brother, two brother. First brother got Mary, second brother got Jesus. Both of you got gifts. Yeah? You're working together, right? At home? Are you? Ah. You're not, you're friends, you're not brothers. So you're working together. Friend one, friend two. You got gift. That's nice. I'm going to stop there. I can go on speaking for 10 hours on Brother Andre, but I don't want to take 10 hours this afternoon. But I have so many stories of healings and miracles to tell you because I have witnessed so many of them. People have told me on my tours because I go to different places across Canada and the US with the relic of Brother Andre. I have seen so many miracles and so many miracles from God through Brother Andre. So I can go on talking, but I'm going to stop there. I'm going to ask Pauline and Mark to, if you want to continue to say some more words, you can. Otherwise, if any of you, if you want to give a testimony, you can come forward. If that's not there, then I'll invite you to come forward to see the relic, to venerate the heart of Brother Andre, and then I'll just anoint you with the oil of Saint Joseph. Is that okay? Yeah, please.
So I'll give you one more story, and I, like Father Joman, could go on for hours and hours and hours. We have that in common, and I want to tell you about Brother Andre's first driving lesson. That's a pretty good one. So Brother Andre came down in 1917, 1920, 1922. It was during one of those visits that he came down, and my grandfather, as I told you, liked to tease him and all that. And he had a great big white steam engine car. It was a massive car. You could put about 12 people in that car, I swear. And he said to Brother Andre, he says, well, have you ever driven an automobile? And this is pretty early for anybody to have automobiles. And he says, no. He goes, I've never driven an automobile. He goes, well, today's your day. So he actually asked them, he says, you know what? He got it started. He put him in the driver's seat. They all jumped in, and down the road he went. He didn't get very far, and he put that big car right in a ditch, And, they all got out, and Napoleon went to the next farm. He went and go see a friend, his son. He goes, can you come pull our car out? So he actually pulled the car. He come over with his team, and they hooked up the machine. And they before that, though, Brother Andre struck up a conversation with his son. He had a young son. He's, I think he was about 12 years old. Terrible, terrible stutter. The poor boy just couldn't even get his name out. And Brother Andre, was getting impatient. He's looking at you, saying, well, what's your name? And he's stuttering. Brother Andre says, you don't have to talk that way. You sound silly, And that was the way Brother Andre was, So, but the farmer didn't think it was too funny. So he come around the back and he says, you can't talk to my son that way. He has a stutter. And he looks at the boy. He goes, no, you don't, do you, son? And the boy was cured immediately from his stutter. He never stuttered for the rest of his life. So that's how Brother Andre learned to drive his car. So I want to thank Father Joman, though. He's been a real treat this tour. And my wife and I, again, we do this because it's an extension of what my Uncle Joe did. And he's kind of like our Brother Andre 2.0. So we're really enjoying this visit with him. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Mark and Pauline and Father Joman, very much for coming and bringing the major reliquary of St. Andre here. I have great expectations always when we come and pray with the major reliquary that the Lord will do signs and wonders. I am a firm believer of that. I have seen that over and over and over again. So grateful for your presence here, and also for the presence of St. Andre interceding for us. Just a few explanations. First of all, if you'd like to give a donation to the Holy Cross Fathers, that's the fathers who are custodians of and also the order to which Brother Andre was a member of, you can fill out an envelope at the back and place your donation in there and put your name and address. We'll collect those. The tax receipt will go through the family of parishes, and we'll then forward the money onto the funds onto the Holy Cross Fathers. So if you'd like to be generous with that, that would be fantastic. Just to give you a sense of what we're doing and how we're going to do it. And so you're invited to come forward. You're invited to place your hand on the reliquary. You're invited to offer your intention to Father Joman, or I'll also make myself available here to pray with people, and we can go in 2 aisles down the center aisle. And we'll just take some time and allow the Lord and the intercession of Saint Andre to touch our hearts and our lives. And so you can do that if we have your permission to just place our hands either on your hand or your shoulder as we're praying with you and praying with the relic of Saint Andre. Following that, you can return to your pew and continue on in the prayer, and just allow the presence of the Lord to really soak into you and just enjoy the presence of Saint Andre with us. And so we'll also have the oil of Saint Joseph available, and we'll be also blessing you with the oil of Saint Joseph, and we'll do that. And again, if you want to get any of the medals or St. Joseph's oil, it's available at the table back there for a suggested donation. And then Father Joman or I can bless those medals afterwards. Is that correct? Did I get that right? Okay, good. So thank you so much for your presence here. One of the other parts of healing is always the sacrament of reconciliation. And so Father Claire has been so generous to be present here and offer that opportunity to celebrate the sacrament of reconciliation. I also want to thank the Knights of Columbus here as being guardians here. And I invite the Knights who are going to be guardians just to be on this second step in the sanctuary if you so wish. But we will be here to pray with people as you come forward and with your intention. And we can hear those intentions and then pray with you with Saint Andre. Is there anything else to add, Father? Okay, wonderful. Again, thank you so much for your time here. We'll be concluding at 5 o'clock. And also to those who are online, I'd just like to invite Father Joman to place his hand on the reliquary. For those who are online, you can do that now, okay? So for those who are online, Father Joman is standing in proxy for you and praying for you and your intentions. And so we'll pause a moment and just pray for those who are joining us online and just ask the Lord, Lord Jesus, we thank you so much for raising up Brother André, Saint Brother André, the first Canadian-born saint in Canada. We thank you for his simplicity and his generosity. We thank you for the gift of the oratory in Montreal and for the many thousands and thousands of people that have been healed through his intercession, through the intercession of Saint Joseph. Always keep us close. And as we place our intentions before Saint André, that we ask that healing be released in our lives and in our families. We ask this in the name of Jesus, who is Lord forever and ever. Amen. So you're invited now to come forward in two lines to be prayed with and blessed by this presence.